Perfect. Thank you. Hi, I'm Robin Quinn, and I just want to give a quick intro of Miss Kathleen Kangas. Kathleen is a doctor of physical therapy specializing in myofascial release and women's health. She owns a private practice in downtown Panama City, Florida, while also expanding her business as a leader here in Life Vantage. She's been a part of the fitness world for 35 years, personally and professionally, and currently enjoys Peloton and CrossFit. She is a military wife and mom of two boys and a stepmom of four girls. And she has been with Life Vantage for over 12 years and has extensive experience with the products and the business. And here she is, gonna magically give us this lovely Zoom. Thank you, Kathleen.
It's magic. Does anybody remember before Zoom? What was life like? Thank you so much, Robin, for the introduction. I had a little trouble hearing you. I just want to make sure everybody else can hear. Okay, just turn up the volume on your computer if there's any sound issues. So again, yes, my name is Kathleen Kangas, tuning in from beautiful Panama City, Florida, and I'm so excited to be here and so excited about our special guest tonight. And I do appreciate you taking out some time from your evening to learn about what we're going to talk about. It will be well worth your time. So I do recommend if you have a piece of paper or something to take notes, I guarantee you'll have questions if you are here exploring a health technology and or business opportunity. You'll want to write those down if you can. And yeah, if you can just put some distractions aside and just join us for this next 45 minutes or so, you're going to be hearing about a company and a product line that's perfectly positioned to dominate in the space of health and wellness. It's a publicly traded company. It is catching the attention of investors around the world. And I really want you to understand how you can capitalize on the timing of all of this information, not only for your personal health, but for your life and creating a legacy for yourself if that's something you want to do. We're going to go back in time here to 2005 when ABC News did a primetime investigative report on this tiny biotech company in Colorado. The reason we share this is because it's such a critical part of our history. It's very antiquated, we know, but the information will blow you away. And I want you to ask yourself two questions when you're watching this, okay? One, who needs this information? And if you could benefit from this in a business aspect, would you be open to that? Okay, so give me a second to share my screen. Thank you for people coming on. If you could just meet your line ahead of time. Let's get going here. All right. Oops. This takes me just a second here. Here we go. We're just going to play this for a couple minutes, not the whole thing.
The following is an ABC primetime investigative report that aired in 2005.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock? Just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill we took might offer a very
Oh, for that? Oh, no. Here.
It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this
Full volume.
I'm about to become part of an exciting.
So sorry. If someone just jumped on, if you could mute your line, please.
Exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig. Dr. McCord, okay. I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCord, a world-renowned scientist. Pretty exciting stuff.
It is. We're very excited about it.
His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test.
And scoop, yeah, there we go.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company. They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age.
No.
T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body,
Leading to disease.
leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress. And we all
It's kind of a weird
the
process.
body fights
Wow.
back with the system.
If you
Sorry
eat
to
to
pause again,
survive.
guys. There's just somebody on the line. If you could, everybody mute their line. Somebody with low big. Thank you.
Of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells. But as we get older, some of those toxic radicals overwhelm our enzymes and wreak their havoc. For a long time, scientists thought that antioxidant vitamins like C and E would lower it, but they don't.
As it's turned out in just the last 5 years or so, we see that they're not good enough tools. They're not powerful enough.
But this pill, he says, is powerful enough. In fact, many times more powerful.
So, doctor, how often do I take these?
And so here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment.
Doesn't taste bad.
It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us. Whether that will lead to longer life is still unknown. Experiments to see if mice live longer are about to get underway, but it's a tantalizing theory.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes.
Have you discovered the fountain of youth?
I wouldn't put it that way, but we may have discovered something that will tell us a lot more about how we age, what happens biochemically, and maybe how we can slow it down. And so you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
Back to the oxidative stress levels of a child? It sounds too good to be true. Will Protandim work on me? But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Have we turned back the clock? Well, maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed.
The following.
Okay, so I'm going to pause there. If you'd like to see the entire ABC News Clip, you can find that on YouTube under Protandim ABC News Clip. You can find it there, but pretty exciting. Let me give you a rundown of what we're going to go over tonight, and then I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to share with you our company story. I want to talk a little bit about oxidative stress and why this is so relevant. Why is this an important conversation today? We're going to talk about leveraged income. I will share with you my story. I have a special guest on tonight, Dr. Michele Libman, who's going to share her story, why she's involved in this today. And if it's something that resonates with you, how you can create a supplemental income just by being plugged into this information and sharing it. Sound good? Okay. First of all, if everybody could find the chat box, I'm just going to ask this question. Had you heard of oxidative stress prior to seeing this news clip? I don't know. I had never heard of this. though I have been in the health and fitness industry my entire life. So 12 years ago, when I saw that ABC News clip, I was shocked. Not only that I didn't know what oxidative stress was, but I hadn't heard of this product before. So I'm curious, had you heard of oxidative stress prior to seeing this news clip? Let's talk about what it is. Oxidative stress is damage to the cells of our body. It's just normal cells turned abnormal. Why? Because everybody take a deep breath. We breathe, we create oxidation in our body. We can't avoid this problem, okay? But there's also issues with the food that we eat, the water that we drink, the air that we breathe. There's too much exercise, too little exercise, environmental toxins, Wi-Fi, EMFs, medications, you name it. There are things in our environment that we can't always control that are accelerating oxidative stress. And that oxidative stress is linked to every breakdown in your body that you could possibly have. If you are curious, if this is related to something, you can go to some place called pubmed.gov, type in oxidative stress and anything, okay? I'm not saying we are curing or treating or mitigating disease. I'm just helping you make the connections between oxidative stress and how this plays out in our body over time. Now, did you see that John Quinones, he took Protandim for 14 days and his oxidative stress was reduced by 45%. That is significant. The first study that was done on our foundation product, Protandim NRF2, shows that we can reduce oxidative stress an average of 40% in 30 days. In fact, we can say that legally to the FDA. That is an organization that can shut down a company like ours if we said we could treat a disease. We're not allowed to say that, but we can say we can treat oxidative stress, which is connected to all those things. So that is huge. And to my knowledge, we're the only company or product line that can legally make that kind of claim today. Here's the problem. Most people are tuned into supplementation and getting their antioxidants through supplements and food alone. And while it is much better to eat broccoli than biscuits, okay, the way those antioxidants work in our body is like a 1-to-1 ratio. Our body produces about 300 septillion free radicals literally every day, bombarding our cells, bombarding our cells. And when you completely just rely on supplements and food alone, you are taking Dixie cups of water to try to put out that fire. You have to eat 400 oranges, 500 cups of broccoli, okay? You get the gist? This is not enough to really tackle what our bodies are being bombarded with on a daily basis. Enter activation. Using plants to activate certain pathways, genetic pathways in our body that turn on these necessary antioxidant enzymes that were flowing freely and abundantly when we were young. But as we age, we don't produce those as well. So those free radicals start to tip the scales as to what our body can do. We activate something called the NRF2 pathway, NRF2 like the football. And instead of just Dixie cups of water to put out that fire, you are turning the sprinkler system on in every room of that house with a fire hose. But your body is the house on fire. So the question is, who do you think needs to know about this? I'd love to know in the chat. Who comes to mind when you think, who needs to know that they could activate their body? I hope you're thinking everybody. And when I really grappled with that 12 years ago when this was presented to me, and I really, understood oxidative stress, I could not stop thinking about the people that did not know about this. And I could be that person to bring the information to them. Huge, right? So let's talk about what happened since 2005. If this is so huge, how come everybody doesn't know about it? Well, there is a story, and you might be hearing about this for the first time, maybe the second or third time. I'm not sure. But when this aired in 2005, $5 million of orders came into the company literally overnight. Like I said, this was a small biotech company. They had no marketing plan. They had no sales team. They were not prepared for that kind of exposure. And ABC News does not go in to cover something positive. They usually go in to uncover something negative. But so they were really unprepared. However, the good thing is that doctors and researchers from all over the world called LifeVantage and said, we want to study that product. Today, there are 28 peer-reviewed papers and studies at the National Library of Medicine. It's called pubmed.gov. I've spent many a years on pubmed.gov when I was in graduate school. If you are a medical practitioner, so did you. But it's significant. It's where all doctors and researchers put their peer-reviewed papers and studies to share. So you have the first study that showed Protandim could reduce oxidative stress an average of 40%. That study is on there. The American Heart Association partnered up with Ohio State to study heart disease and scar tissue, and they ended up putting that study in Circulation Journal to all the AHA members. They don't do that for natural products. LSU did a skin cancer study on Protandim and found the results of that animal study so compelling that the company took this technology into skincare. How about that? The National Institute of Aging studied Protandim and found it was the only natural product to show an increase in lifespan in their animal model. That is compared to things like resveratrol, omegas, green tea, things that I'm sure you're familiar with, me saying all those things. So the point is, this is not your average thing that's on the market. However, it ended up in the stores. It ended up in CVS and apothecaries and CVS all over the country. However, when you have a category creating scientific breakthrough on the market sitting in the vitamin section next to other antioxidants for $10, and this was $50, nobody knows what activation is. What do you think happened? It didn't do well. In fact, they couldn't get the sales over 3 million a year. That's just in the US. So the company brought in a business consultant in 2009. Some of these studies are getting underway, but that's just at the beginning. He watches that ABC News clip, is so blown away. He convinces the board of directors to pull this out of the stores and put this in a distribution model, like take out the middleman and put this in the hands of people who can go out and share this story, just like I'm doing right now. And that's called network marketing. All right. And he says, what's so unique about this is that most entrepreneurs don't want to be salespeople, right? We're not necessarily on this planet just to sell things, but we are storytellers and we are all connectors. Like, think about the last time you recommended a hairdresser or a therapist, a massage therapist, maybe a good doctor. We do it all the time. And that's what we do here with LifeVantage. What happened when they changed the platform to network marketing? Well, they went from 3 million to 11 million the first year. And today we are well over 200 million, almost $250 million, publicly traded on the NASDAQ today. So it was a great decision, a huge success. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about, this is PubMed where you go type in Protandim. You can go look at the studies. We're going to talk about 6 components to consider when exploring a business opportunity. For those of you on here who are really you're here to check out this health technology for yourself, I just want you to know I'm going to cover all those products and you're welcome to stay through that. And not for the rest, that's fine. But the opportunity is massive. So if you're open and have the time, I really would love for you to stay on. 6 components to consider: the company, trends, products, timing, compensation, and systems. LifeVantage, in a nutshell, we're publicly traded since 2005. So here we are going on 20 years now. We're publicly traded on the NASDAQ today. We've been invited to Wall Street twice now to do the closing bell out there. So we are a recognized, integrous, respected company that got invited to do that. We are a debt-free company. We have a board of directors that keeps us in check, right? It's good to know that you have leadership and not just one guy at the top who can just make all the decisions, but they have a team of people. And that's important because of transparency. There are a lot of companies out here in the network marketing space that are privately held, and sometimes they can disappear just like that. I like that we're a part of something that's transparent. We know what's going on behind the scenes. We can even be personal investors ourselves. Today, we are in, I think, 23 countries around the world, starting just in the US back in 2009 as a network marketing company. So this was a huge success, and we are just sharing this one person at a time, one story at a time. Trends. Before I talk about the actual product trends, I want to talk about the trends in the world right now. One of them is financial instability. We hear it all the time, whether it's inflation or just the cost of living. people having to work multiple jobs to get by, the cost of groceries, all these things. It's almost like paychecks aren't keeping up with the cost of things and what we want in our life. So people are living paycheck to paycheck and looking for other ways to create income. If you just jumped on, if you could mute your line, please. Thank you. People are looking for other ways to create income. Hold on a second. Let me just do this real quick. Thank you. Okay. They do not even know that they can work from their home. They can work from their phone. They don't have to go get another job and trade their time for money. There are other ways to create income into the household, and we get to offer that. Another trend is health and wellness. Health and wellness is one of the largest economic trends in world history. This is according to Paul Zane Pilzer, who's a world economist. He's written 8 books. He's advised multiple presidents and wrote The Next Billionaires, health and wellness. And like I said, we're positioned to dominate in that category because of a few things. People are also looking for another way, like other ways of doing business, lower cost of doing business. Instead of having to pay overhead, getting thousands and thousands of dollars of investment or purchasing a franchise for hundreds of thousands of dollars, people can get into a business like this for almost nothing and have unlimited income potential. This is the product trend slide I really love so much, because if you love health products like I do, I've been in the health world for a very long time. I love products, I love devices, I love services. I'm a myofascial release therapist. And so I get very excited about this. The anti-aging market is 300 billion. And I almost want to say that's low. I think it's bigger than that, to tell you the truth. And we have category creating unique and consumable products in all of these categories: skincare, hair care. We all use those things, right? We all use them anyway. Pet care. People often spend more money on their pets. They'll take them to the doctor before they go to the doctor, right? Energy. All you need to do is go into a 7-Eleven and see that the wall is lined with energy drinks that do not have a lot of health benefits, and they have very, very high caffeine. So there's some side effects with that. And weight loss. I'm super excited to talk about our weight loss category as we get through the product line. So if you're dealing with non-consumable products, people aren't going to need those non-consumable products every month, but people use our products every single month, month after month after month. We have a subscription model, okay? Also, if you don't have unique products, then you really have to go around being a salesperson, convincing everybody why your product is better than this product, even though it's the same. We don't have to deal with that because of the uniqueness of our science. Okay, oops. There we go. All right, here we go. Breaking down the product line. That ABC News clip is about this product right here, Protandim NRF2 Synergizer. Proven to lower oxidative stress an average of 40% in 30 days. Increase glutathione by 300%. You might be familiar with that term. It's kind of buzzing around there. You may or not heard of it, but that's our master antioxidant enzyme. It's made up of 5 plant ingredients: turmeric, milk thistle, green tea, ashwagandha, bacopa. Welcome to everybody who's jumped on. I see that a few more people have jumped on. How many of you in the chat have heard of some of these ingredients? Just say, yep, I'm just curious. Probably most of you have heard about one of these, but that's not the unique thing about Protandim, okay? This study you can find at pubmed.gov is on the synergy of Protandim NRF2. When they combined these 5 at very small doses, so you don't have to worry about taking too much of any of these things, it created a product that was 18 times more powerful than the individual components. Because of this synergy, and they could show that the combination of these things did something different than the individual components, that's what led us to have patents on our products. Not only patents, but our products are approved by the Banned Substance Control Group, which means professional athletes and Olympic athletes can use our products. That's huge, huge. Okay. So I love this study to show that synergy. It's different. Some people will say, oh, well, I drink green tea in the morning, or I take my turmeric supplements. That's wonderful. It's not the same as this, 18 times. Then we have, the company went on to create other activators, and they are not stopping. Okay, I just want to plant the seed that we are just scratching the surface as to the pathways that we are finding out how we can activate. But NRF1 is our mitochondrial pathway. This just increases your mitochondrial production. It's, again, made up of plant ingredients. BSCG certified, NSF, which is a super, super high safety standard. And then we have Protandim NAD. How many of you have seen NAD on Facebook somewhere? There's ads everywhere. Excuse me. My voice is getting a little dry as I'm talking. So NAD, this supports healthy longevity, autophagy, so removal of cellular waste. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. People pronounce it differently. But this improves mental focus and concentration, positive mood and motivation. If you know people that fast, okay, intermittent fasting or some other kind of fasting, that process activates NAD. Okay, we're able to activate NAD, and you can see 100% in 24 hours. Caloric restriction, fasting is about 94%. And the competition out there, other NAD products, about 2%. That's really exciting. But it doesn't stop there because when you combine these 3 Protandim products, something else happened. Exponentially, the pathways were even more powerfully activated when you take these together. This is called our Protandim Trisynergizer. It is powerful. In fact, most people, if you're not always going to feel your oxidative stress level go up and down. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying people's lives haven't been totally transformed just by Protandim alone. However, when you take these together, there can be a more palpable experience with being activated. So that's our Trisynergizer. I'm going to go through some of these products a little more quickly. We do have some products that are designed to help with the activation potential of our products to support cell signaling. How many of you have taken a multivitamin in your life? Just in your chat. Like you take one or you don't take one. I'm just curious. The only one I'm ever familiar with is like the all-in-one, like the Centrum all-in-one multivitamins. But what we know is that we don't need all of those ingredients all at once. So our company created a morning regimen with Rise AM. I love it especially because it has a lightly flavored vanilla coating, which makes it not disgusting to swallow. If you've ever taken those multivitamins, they're rough. So you take it in the beginning of the day because that's when your circadian rhythms need that for energy. And then we have a reset PM, which really supports your calm and ease in the evening when you want your body to calm down. I love this stuff. And then we do have a D3. Lots of people are vitamin D deficient. So we also offer that. We have an omega, which is so pristine. You could chew the capsule and swallow the oil. It has an omega-3, 7, and a D3. And a fun fact, because I'm a CrossFitter, this is the only supplement that CrossFit recommends, omega. I'm guessing it's for its anti-inflammatory benefits. So I take this every day as well. I see bright. The vision market is huge.
Andrew?
Pete, could everybody just mute their line, please, if you just came on? Liz, I think that's you. I see bright supports long-term eye health. How many of you are in front of your phones or your computers a lot of the day? Okay, we are creating oxidative stress directly to our eyes. There's a lot of eye strain there, a lot of eye fatigue. Icy Bright helps protect our eyes from that blue light damage. It increases, I love this, increases macular pigment optical density to promote macular and retinal health, right? We're all aging here. I'm going to move into the skincare line. As you recall, I mentioned that LSU did a skin cancer study that propelled the company to create an activating anti-aging skincare line. This is our True Science line. It is so delicious. It's a cleanser, a True Renew, which is a plant-based retinol, a True Lift, which goes all around the eyes, and then we have a True Hydrate, which is probably my favorite of all of them in here. It's so hydrating and so light at the same time. I'm going to scroll through. Well, you can see some of the pictures here. These are 15-minute changes. Literally, your skin will drink this up. Also, all of our personal care products, skin and hair, are all very clean, rated on the Think Dirty app. If you're not familiar with the Think Dirty app, you go there, you can download it and plug in your personal care products to see what the rating is. All of ours are green and clean, and that's really important when you're putting stuff on your skin. We have a hair care line, which nourishes the follicles on your scalp, okay, to help with healthy hair growth, strengthens your hair, And then it's a very clean shampoo and conditioner combination. You can see the result of activation on the scalp here. I would also say that most of these people are probably taking NRF2. So NRF2 is really the foundation of everything. And I think about that and then layering on other products based on what people's personal goals are. We have the best face sunscreen. If you have used the True Protect face sunscreen, can you just drop it in the chat, like how much you love this stuff? Because finally, we can put a sunscreen on our face that doesn't pull our skin, it doesn't show up white, it's not sticky, and it's anti-aging, and it's super clean. And then we have a True Science hand cream. Now that hand cream right there, we have a special on that. I'm gonna try to remember to tell you about that at the end of the presentation here. That True Science is amazing. It is summertime. We need to protect our face. Our collagen is our second largest selling product next to NRF2. It's different than what you buy in the store. Okay, so it does three things. It activates your collagen production, it replenishes your collagen depletion, and it helps maintain your collagen like stability. Because as we age, that breaks down. I am a myofascial therapist and I understand this, and I was so excited when we launched this because that fascia dries up, that collagen breaks down, and it reduces the tensile strength of our connective tissue. So this is more than just making you look younger on the outside, though I promise you your skin will look different when you take this. It's made up of these ingredients: red quinoa extract, fish collagen peptides, 10 different types of peptides. You're not going to find that in the store. And then berry and citrus fruit extracts, which are designed to help maintain your collagen. As I said, it goes beyond great skin and nails and hair. This is for everything. Our body is like 90% collagen, even your eyes. So whether it's for joint support, muscle recovery, cardiovascular health, brain health, you want a really good collagen. This is a cool picture of the improvement of your collagen density in 8 weeks. I don't know if you guys are on your phone or on a computer, but if you can open this up and see the significance of that, that is incredible. I have a patient that started taking collagen about 2 months ago. It literally looks like she's had some work on her face because her skin is just so radiant and so much more plump. It looks like this collagen density over here on the right. But why liquid instead of the powder that you're probably putting in your coffee? Powder is about 10 to 30% absorption, liquid 90%. Okay, so our collagen is hydrolyzed. That means it's chopped up into really small pieces, so your body doesn't have to work to break it down, and that's why you get the high absorption rate. The results, let's take a look. Everywhere, okay? Now people can go and spend money on their face at a med spa. That's not going to affect their entire body. This is the legs. This is the hands, the neck. This is a doctor friend of ours who bravely shared this photo because it was so significant for her when her skin went from very crepey and dry to just much more hydrated and plump. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm right there with you. All right, moving past collagen, Pet Tandem is the only NRF2 on the market for dogs today. It is just a chewable form of our flagship product, Pro Tandem. Dogs suffer from oxidative stress just like we do, and they need the help, okay? They grow very fast, so that oxidative stress goes with it, and they have joint issues, they have heart issues, they have all sorts of things associated with oxidative stress. So you can use this as a treat. I'm curious if anybody on here tonight uses Pet Tandem with their pets. And how do they like it? I know my dog, I mean, she goes bananas if I give that to her. She's so excited. She has no idea it's good for her. Then we have Axio. Axio is our executive functioning brain food. I like to call it that instead of just energy drink because we associate energy drinks with the stuff that's in 7-Eleven. This literally improves mental endurance, mental acuity, concentration, memory, neurotransmitter function, reduces brain stress. A lot of people are like, brain stress. Yeah, like brain fatigue. I feel that at the end of the day. So we do have a caffeinated version, and lucky us, we have decaf. I can drink decaf right now. It does not keep me up. It just helps clear my head. It just makes my brain not feel tired after a long day. Gut health, we've got a stronghold on some products here. We have a prebiotic drink that you can use. It helps promote balanced blood sugar levels within a healthy range, promotes bowel regularity, helps suppress appetite, does all these things in a drink. I love it because I used to drink it as a dessert and it would just calm my any cravings for anything else. But it also acts as a fertilizer for the probiotic right here. Our probiotic has 6 billion CFUs of beneficial bacteria. But the important thing about our probiotic is that it's time released. It's protected as it goes through your stomach acids. So all that 6 billion CFUs actually gets to where it needs to go. We know that a healthy gut is a healthy immune system. We also have Daily Wellness, our immune drink, which has additional postbiotics in it, in addition to some basic immune ingredients, zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D, elderberry, and fermented yeast. So I drink this at night. This is my tea in the evening, and it's just that third level of gut health. That gut piece is also part of our weight loss category of products. And I'm about to go into something really exciting, and then I'm going to invite our special guest on here tonight. But we have a fat burner. It's a metabolic enhancer. This is a tool. It is not an only tool. I recommend people use this in conjunction with lifestyle change, healthy diet. The 16-week placebo-controlled study on the ingredients and physique fat burn showed that it increases calorie expenditure about 181 calories per day. Okay, but remember, if you eat 500 extra calories a day, this is not going to help you. This is why it's a tool to use in conjunction with your other weight loss plan. That would be your natural GLP-1 activation system. This is a two-part system, 2 pills in the morning, followed by your mind-body enhance mix that balances your gut microbiome to help you feel fuller longer. It's clinically shown to naturally increase your GLP-1 hormone by 140%, but it's up to 200%. That's what they've shown. Okay, so it's sustainable weight loss over time. It helps balance hunger hormones. It improves satiety. It reduces cravings and reduces food noise. I mean, how many of you have ever thought, like, when am I going to eat next? Or it's like anxiety around food. Is it going to be enough? All that stuff. I've struggled with that my whole life. So this has completely changed my relationship to food. And I really love that it helps maintain blood sugar levels all the way, within a normal range. They have found that in the 12 weeks, there was an average weight loss of 25 pounds. And I think it was about 83% of people lost that in 12 weeks. I will tell you, people that stay on this longer will go through another shift in 5, 6, 7 months. Okay, so it doesn't stop at 12 weeks. Some people have more healing to do with their metabolic health, but this is incredible. Up to 27% reduction in visceral fat, that's the fat around your organs. 100% who lost the weight maintained muscle. How many of you have heard that muscle loss is a side effect of pharmaceutical manipulation of weight loss? It's huge. So we don't have that. And you can see the statistics here, the survey after that study was done. This is very, very high numbers. And here are some pictures. I'll just give this to you really quick. And then I'm so excited to introduce Dr. Michele Libman, who is a physician down here in Stuart, Florida. And let me pull this up really quick while you're looking at that picture. She is board certified, not only in emergency medicine, but internal medicine. She is the owner of a urgent care clinic, and she recently just opened a anti-aging clinic where she deals with medically, modified weight loss programs. She deals with hormone replacement therapy. She deals with all things anti-aging at this clinic. So she's somebody that really has her foot in these two worlds and just came back from, I think, a peptide world conference where, they're talking about things that we've been talking about for years. So it's super exciting. I'm going to stop share here so I can see everybody's face and everybody can see Dr. Libman. Not only this, but she's a mom She's a dog mom as well, and she's a second degree black belt in karate. This woman, if you're ever, have you, if you thought you were busy, you haven't met Dr. Michele. Okay, so you might wonder, well, how is someone so busy, like do this too? So I'll give her a chance to talk about that too a little bit later. But in response to the products and what about these products is so inspiring to you, just tell us a little bit about your story, Dr. Michele. Can we see you? Yes.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Kathleen, for inviting me tonight. It's really an honor to be here with you all. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry. What am I answering?
Can you share, like, you're a traditionally trained doctor. What
Correct.
attracted you to LifeVantage and the products?
So yeah, so I'm definitely a conventionally trained physician, and as we're all learning that medical school is funded by big pharma, so we're kind of trained, you know, if you see this constellation of symptoms, the person has this disease and you treat with this drug. Like in medical school, we got very little education on nutrition, lifestyle. So that was kind of the path that I was on. Unfortunately, my brother was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer back in 2010 time zone. And, you know, he went down the conventional treatment route. And unfortunately, he got to the point where there were no other options for him. And that was really when I started taking a look into alternative medicine and started learning about different options. He ended up trying some alternative options. I unfortunately didn't know about LifeVantage back then, or I definitely would have pushed that on him. But it just kind of made me more open to learning about more holistic, um, you know, medical applications. And I was actually introduced to LifeVantage by my ophthalmologist. I had turned 50 and started suffering from dry eye and went to see my eye doctor, who was telling me about all these supplements I needed for my eye. And then in conversation, he's like, hey, do you know anything about NRF2 activation? And I actually had never heard of it, and I was embarrassed. And so I started doing research on it, and he was telling me how he and his family took these products and that they felt so great on it. And it was at a point in my life where I was under tremendous stress. We had actually had a big financial loss. I was really run down. I wasn't sleeping. And I trusted him. And when he told me that he felt great on it, you know, that's when I started researching the products and taking the products myself.
So I know you just came back, and thank you for sharing about your brother. I know that's like hard to like share sometimes, but I appreciate your vulnerability in that. I know you just came back from a pretty significant conference. Can you share a little bit about like what your takeaway was at in relevance to what we're doing here with activation?
So yeah, so I spent last weekend in Vegas at the World Peptide Congress. And for those of you that don't know, peptides are small chains of amino acids that are linked together, and they act as signaling molecules. So they kind of, you know, signal your cells, similar to what the LifeVantage products do. And in the very first lecture, in the very first day of the conference, he started talking about 10 different pathways that are the most important on the cellular level and that we were going to spend time learning about. And literally the first pathway he talked about was NRF2. Then he was talking about mitochondria. Then he started talking about NAD and sirtuins. And I was there by myself and I just looked at the person next to me and I'm like, oh my God, like this, it just blew my mind, and it just reinforced to me like how ahead of its time LifeVantage is, because LifeVantage was talking about this stuff since 2009, and now all of this activation with peptides is really coming into mainstream. So it was just a great feeling.
I love that. I love that. Now, I know you work in the weight loss space, so you're familiar with things that people are doing these days that involve side effects and shots and prescriptions and things like that. But you also know about natural GLP-1 activation. I would love to know kind of your perspective on that in regards to how do you feel about natural GLP-1 activation? What's in it for people?
Yeah, so I do have patients who come to me specifically requesting the injectable GLP-1 activators. And I do have to go through, their medical history, to make sure that it's safe for them. There is a risk of pancreatitis with the injectable ones. There is a risk of loss of muscle. Actually, last week I had a 81-year-old woman that came in wanting to get on the injectable medication. And I told her that I didn't think it was the right medication for her because I was concerned about loss of muscle. In the elderly, that's a big problem. That's one of the reasons if, as we age, we lose our muscle density. And if somebody falls and breaks a hip, that can really lead them onto a downward path. So especially in the elderly, losing muscle is a really dangerous proposition. There's other side effects. There's constipation, there's bloating, there's acid reflux, there's nausea, there's vomiting. I actually had a patient who ended up having part of her colon removed because she ended up with a bowel obstruction. So I've seen some bad things happen with the injectables. I do tell everybody about the LifeVantage products who comes in looking for weight loss. It is a little bit of a slower process. The injectables are super therapeutic amounts of GLP-1, so people see weight loss very quickly. But then when they stop the medication and that food noise comes back, we see the weight come back on. So I do tell them that this is a slower process. It does take 12 weeks to get to the 140 or 200% GLP-1 levels. So they're not going to see that quick drop off, but that's much safer to do it slower. And interestingly, in the study, they found that there was, with the mind-body system, 27% loss of visceral fat. With the injectable GLP-1, there's actually only about a 7% loss of visceral fat, and that's the dangerous fat around the organs. So the LifeVantage system is so much superior to the pharmaceutical medications. And it has a lot of fiber, it has a lot of prebiotics, probiotics, vitamins, things to really maintain that healthy gut environment for the GLP-1 hormone to act optimally.
Okay, I am like so blown away by what you just dropped right there. I mean, how many of you did not know that 27% versus 7% visceral fat? That's that's the most important right there. Wow. Well, thank you for that, just like product validation, especially around the GLP-1, which is, it's completely transformed, where our company's going next. And I know you're probably excited about these other pathways that we're going to be activating somewhere in the future. So I'm going to bring you back on in a little bit, so stand by.
Okay. You're muted, Kathleen.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was muted there. I think I was saying thank you so much, and that was pretty amazing to hear that stat that you dropped about the visceral fat, comparing the two. And if anybody else found that pretty amazing, or if this was valuable to hear from Dr. Libman, and whatever you took away from that, feel free to drop it in the chat. Okay, you guys can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So now if everybody could stay muted, that would be
That
great.
coming through my phone or the?
Oh yeah, just if everybody could mute their line.
It's coming through the car.
Oops,
Oh,
hold on. Here we go. I got it. Okay, here we go. Let me go back. There we go. Okay, so that is our product line. Okay, I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about this piece that I find is so important. In my whole life, I've been able to help people with their health and their healing. I've never been in a position to help them with their financial health. And we know that when people do not have financial stability, they don't really have the means to do things like take care of their health. It's a lot harder. So I feel very excited about being able to share the opportunity for people to participate in this company, whether it be a little bit of extra income coming into their household, whether it be just enough to cover their own products, or build a personal legacy that they can actually pass down to their children and their grandchildren, literally building generational wealth. We can do that here. So I do want to spend a minute on that. The timing of a company is pretty critical. If some of you have never heard of LifeVantage, most people, even 12 years after I've been introduced to this, had not heard of LifeVantage before. Most have not heard of oxidative stress, so definitely not heard of protandim products or activation. We are still in the pioneering phase of this, the early majority. So there's a massive opportunity, even though we're all around the world. It's just a really unique situation. And the way we get paid is it's complex. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a little summary. We get paid to share information, and as you grow a customer base, you get commission on that every single month that people are ordering, not just one time, but every single month because of our subscription model. We also have an opportunity to build and grow a team, which can create more long-term sustainable, income. And then there's an opportunity to lead, which opens up a whole nother component of our compensation plan. But in the beginning, we earn the difference between what we pay as consultants and what our customer pays. And we get that every single month. Plus, we have an opportunity to earn additional bonuses on all of that customer volume based on how many customers you have. So anywhere from 5% to a 20% bonus on top of that baseline commission we get just for customers. Okay. So somebody might come in and say, I just want to build customers and that's it. You have a way to make very good money here. Now, if you're looking, you want more than that. We benefit and earn more money as we grow a team. So maybe you have a couple business partners, and as you grow that team, you start earning a percent of what your team is doing, their customers, their business partners, and it all just kind of rolls up. You're incentivized to turn around and help those people grow. So they're successful, you're successful. It's a very altruistic business model, actually. So you can see as you rank advance in the company, you earn higher percentages deeper in the organization. We also qualify to earn check matches on qualifying leaders in the organization. We can go into detail with this with a personal phone call, but I just want to give you a high-level overview. When you get to the higher ranks of the company, you actually participate in global profit sharing. So the company takes 4% of global commissionable sales, they put it in a pool, and then it's split among the leadership of LifeVantage. Why is this beneficial to you? It's culture. So we have a culture of collaboration and support, and that means our leadership is reaching down and helping the newest people come in and grow their business, because the larger LifeVantage grows, the more successful we all are. So that's something about our comp plan that's quite unique. And then there's lots of fun incentives. Trips. We have a trip to Thailand as part of our next executive destination. We've been to Croatia. You can earn a Jeep Wrangler or 25,000 in cash. About a few hundred of us are going on a 7-night Alaska cruise in August. There's many things to like incentivize us and increase the fun of growing a business like this. And if we look at the income, because we're publicly traded, everything has to be out there and transparent, including the income that people are making. This is our income disclosure statement. And you can see at the beginning of a business, very beginning, barely doing anything, it's the income is not very much. But here's the funny thing. You have to ask yourself, how much money do you have to have in, say, a 4% APR savings account to earn $84 in interest at the end of the month? It's a lot. It's probably over $20,000 in a savings account, earning about 4% to get an $84 interest. Okay, but we can show people how to do that at the beginning of a business, just to have a little extra money at the end of the month. If you are looking for more part-time income, you can see. Now, Dr. Michele is a managing consultant 3. That means that her business has reached a certain level in the organization where the average income of someone at her level is $6,700. That's just, I can tell you that legally. So I'm just going to invite Dr. Libman to come back on here just for a moment to share why she said yes to a business when she was very, very busy. How did you add this into your very, very busy life?
Well, as I mentioned, when I was introduced to the business, it was at a very stressful time in my life. We were having a lot of financial difficulties. We had an employee that had stolen a lot of money from us. And I was very run down, and this other physician told me about the products. And so I was doing a ton of research before I said yes. I will say that I was very impressed by the fact that the company had all these independent studies. A lot of times when companies publish research, they only publish what they want you to see, and they bury a lot of the negative stuff. So the fact that there's over 50 independent studies from institutions that really have no buy-in to the results was very important to me. And the fact that when I went, like you said, people in medicine go to pubmed.gov to do their research. And the fact that the company actually had studies on the end product. So a lot of times when companies say their products are backed by science and you go to find that science, there's actually studies on individual ingredients, but not the combination of those ingredients. So that impressed me as well. I actually had a coworker who wanted to try the product. She had a lot of different health conditions. And I told her, I wanted to be the guinea pig because this could be snake oil for all we knew. I was also talking to my husband about getting involved with the business, and he was very skeptical. He had told me I had spent, and he was right, a long time building up my reputation in this community. And I was, well known. And he's like, you don't want to attach your name to a business that's selling snake oil, and that could just totally destroy your reputation. So before I got involved, my husband actually flew out to Utah to meet with the corporate team. He met with the compliance team, and he came back and he said, go for it. He was just so blown away by the fact that the company had all these patents on plants. He's like, that doesn't happen. Like, the science is so incredible for them to be able to get those patents. So, he gave me his permission, and I just love having another platform to be able to help people. I have a lot of patients who have become, for reasons I'm not going to get into, a little bit skeptical of pharma, big pharma, and they're looking for more holistic ways to help their health. And I used to not really have anything to offer them. So now I just am blessed that I have a whole assortment of products that I can tell my patients about if they're looking for more natural ways. And this is definitely more preventative, which is, something I'm very passionate about, is trying to prevent chronic disease rather than treat chronic disease. So, it just makes me really happy. And, the money is always nice because I love to travel. So it supports my travel habits.
It's helpful, right?
Yes.
That's so great. I really think about practitioners today. And if you are a practitioner on here, I think we did have some practitioners coming on today, that to have that, we're to be ahead of the game in that way, to have these forward-thinking products. I just think it elevates who we are as practitioners, that we have our foot in both worlds. We understand both worlds, like the conventional piece and what people are looking for. People are looking for natural, and they do have a lot of skepticism that people don't want to be on pharmaceuticals for the rest of their life. I guess maybe some people do, but those people who don't want to, like, we have something for them, right? Thank you so much, Michele, Dr. Michele. Love that you're here with us. And I'm sure, again, that was so validating for a lot of people on here. I'm going to go back here and be wrapping up here in just a moment. I hope you can see that screen. Yes? Okay. You can still see that screen, right? The earnings statement. Somebody tell me if you can't. So if you look up to the higher ranks in the company, into the executive level of the company, I'm very blessed. I was able to reach that level in about 4 years. Again, my background is originally, as I was in the fitness industry, I taught classes, I traded every hour for money. So to make more money, I had to trade away my time, and I was exhausted. Then I became a physical therapist, and it was about the same. Then I started my own business, my own practice, and it was about the same. If I were to make that money, I have to have a patient on the table. There wasn't a lot of room for being sick, for bad weather, for economic downturns, for recessions. There wasn't a lot of room for that in my profession just as a sole practitioner. But like Dr. Libman, when I saw this, just the technology, just the ability to help people and knew I wouldn't be able to keep that a secret, I was all in, and I figured, hey, even if I made a few $100s a month, that would be worth it because I'd have the flexibility to manage this other really important part of my life, which was that of being a mom. I had an infant and a 2-year-old at home, and I did not have an answer for how I was going to capture those moments. I didn't want to miss those moments because I had to have a full-time patient load. So when this came into my life, I was actually praying for a way to have more time. Okay. I was very, very busy. I wanted more time. And that's why I decided to be part of this, because this was something I could literally do from my living room when my babies were napping or when I was driving from point A to point B. And it was something that was aligned with what I was doing already as a healthcare practitioner, or it could be just aligned into who you are as somebody who wants to help people or you're passionate about health. So that income soon surpassed what I was making as a physical therapist, and now it's flipped. I'm able to support my family with the income of LifeVantage, work with absolutely incredible people. I've met the most amazing people being in this business, and I get to treat patients because I want to, not because I have to. So that's like the cherry on top, is that I can do that without the financial pressure. So I don't know if that relates to any moms out here on the line or any practitioners out here, but that is my story. And it was very simple. Again, I had no experience in network marketing, but I knew that I could work with a team and I could share information. I didn't have to be an expert in all of this to get started. And that's how we did it. And that's how Dr. Michelle's done it too. So getting started, you're falling into 1 of 3 categories. And again, I thank you for carving out the time to be here tonight. You're in 1 of 3 categories at this point. You are interested in digging more into this. If this is the first time you're hearing about it, great. You can go to the unique LifeVantage website of the person that invited you. All of that information is there. Very, very thorough website with FAQs and studies and all sorts of stuff. You can also go to pubmed.gov. Scholar.google.com will help filter out the bloggers, which there are plenty of them on the web. All sorts of stuff that are really positioned to just like drive you to another place on the internet. Okay. So if you ever come across something you have a question about, again, get back with the person who invited you. We also have education groups. Health Evolution is our education group, and there's some other ones. So just if you're not in one yet, connect with that person that invited you. Category 2. Okay, you're looking to become a customer. You want to get activated. You want to optimize your health, achieve more with more energy. You want to look radiant, all those things. We have some great options for customers, including a rewards program. And we have subscription pricing and free shipping options. And we have a really special promotion, summer promotion, where it's called the High Speed Health Stack. You get a free NAD in that stack. That's a $60 value right there. You get the Mind Body, the Protandim NRF2, the fat burn, and a free NAD and a hand cream. And lastly, if you are looking to participate, you want to be a part of this movement that Michele and I are on, and some of us who are on it are on this call tonight. You come in as a consultant and you essentially get your products in a pack, a tax-deductible business pack. There's a lot of different options. So on the website, you can take a look at the different, you just get in where you fit in. I think the most bang for your buck is what's called our business pack that includes almost every product of ours except the shampoo, at least to have an experience for, a month's supply of those things. You get a website, you get a free ticket to a company convention, and there's larger savings when you come in with the pack. And then you'll just pick a stack. You come in with this pack, you pick a stack of products that you want to use for yourself and your family. And with that, I just, again, want to thank you. I just want to see anybody's faces on here so I can look around. Thank you all. Thank you, Michele. Thank you for everybody who jumped on here. Thank you, Robin, for the introduction all the way from Boston, Massachusetts. And please, again, just let the person know who invited you. Are you 1, 2, or 3? Or if you're not interested, that's okay too. But I don't know if you could listen to this tonight and not have some interest in knowing more at least. Thank you guys. Have a great evening.